So, Zack, Brack,
Yes, sir.
welcome to the podcast where it's always
Appreciate it.
420.
Yes, always 420. I appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, man, that's what's up. So, yeah, we just hooked up the other day, and you told me that you worked for the big cannabis industry, huh?
Yes.
Kind of the dun-dun-dun.
Yeah, big cannabis. I know you were like, what does that mean exactly?
Right.
Corporate cannabis. So I started in 2018 in Maryland. I had done door-to-door sales before that, business to business, pretty much sales background, sales manager. Wasn't happy, 100% commission. It's a tough game to play. Kept hearing a lot of like self-help gurus like Grant Cardone and these types of guys. Hey, do what you love. And that was one of the things I kept taking and it kept sticking. So love cannabis. So I was like, how do I get into it? It was just starting in the Maryland market, medical. Just sent my resume over to plenty of different companies out there. Just whatever. Here I am. And I had got a call back from Harvest of Maryland, and they had just started a grow in Hancock, Maryland at the time in 2018.
So, you're from Maryland or West Virginia?
I'm from Maryland. I'm from Baltimore originally.
Okay.
Grew up in Baltimore, suburbs of Baltimore. Moved to Hagerstown, Maryland, probably 2015, 16.
Okay.
Somewhere around there. So I was in Hagerstown for a few years, moved out there for work, for doing door to door. But again, like I said, I wanted to get into cannabis. So took a leap. They hired me, $13 an hour, post-harvest trim associate.
Okay.
I was devastated. I was like,
Post-harvest trim associate.
Yes.
We have to remember that shit.
Yes.
Trimmer.
Yes,
Right,
trimmer.
right. Trim in jail.
Trimmer and laborer. And anything else that cultivation needs to help out with, and you're going to be in there sweating and doing what they need you to do too.
Okay.
So it was really, that was my role, but we were so small. I mean, maybe like 25, 30 people worked there at the time. So
And you got to start at the bottom either way,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. And I was willing to. I mean, I was willing to do whatever it took to
Right.
get my foot in the door. So yeah, I started post-harvest trim. I had started smoking weed when I was 15 years old. Mm-hmm. Buddy of mine started smoking weed. I had never been around it, never seen it, never really had much interest in it. Mm-hmm. He started talking about it, kind of got me curious. I wanted to try it. So I had been around marijuana, weed for a long time, black market, you got to hide it from everybody.
Right,
it's
right.
not cool.
Mm-hmm. Vilified.
Yeah, vilified. So, you think you know a lot about it, but, when you actually get into the industry and kind of see how the sausage is made, so to say, you get to, learn about terpenes and cannabinoids and all this different, all these things that go into the plant, what the plant can do for you as a person and people that are sick. So it's an amazing, amazing plant. But yeah, I started with harvest, started post-harvest trim. Hancock, Maryland, it's a town about 1,200 people in Maryland. It's very small, which is where most of these places put their grows at because they don't want to be, out in the open. And
Plus the real estate's cheaper.
Yeah, real estate's cheaper.
Lease is cheaper.
I think they even went in on the town that owns the building, so they have some equity in it. Now I think they fully own it. Now that they've ramped things up. But yeah, small town, a lot of drama with inside the cultivation and stuff like that. So I was looking to get out of the post-harvest, but I didn't want to go into cultivation because I didn't want to be under the lights all day. Even though I like being around the plants, I would help reap on harvest days, things like that. But a driving position came up to deliver. So I was like, oh, that'd be cool. Get out of here. I don't have to deal with everybody's drama. I'll be out on my own. But it's a huge risk. You're driving around hundreds of $1,000s worth of weed and products, cash, sometimes $250,000 in cash in a book bag that I got to take down to the dispensary for Garda to come pick up. So it's I'm not armed. And I'm just, little me driving around in a transit, it's at any moment, if you're smart enough, you watch one of these places, you just watch who goes in and out. It's white transit vans all day.
So what was the most you took to a dispensary at one time?
I would say $250,000 in a book bag.
Oh, shit.
Yes. It's mind blowing. But just
you would pick up $250,000.
So I would pick up cash payments from dispensaries while I would be delivering.
For product. You'd be delivering product.
For product, yes. Yeah. Some would pay ACH, some would pay cash on delivery. When I would get back to the grow, we would log that, put that in the safe. Well, the next following week, it has to go down to the dispensary, their main dispensary, and then Garda would come pick it up from there. I think it was a thing with Garda being armed. They didn't want them coming to the grow because if you're there armed, then federally they can come in at any moment. So I guess it's a little loophole. But
Right.
yeah, I was basically the middleman taking all the money down there, and wasn't a great feeling. You're very on edge, a lot of times, but you get desensitized.
It used to be you were scared of the police.
Yeah.
You're scared of the public.
And it's like you're like looking around like, hey, does this guy know I got 250,000 right here and I got 100,000? No, I just look like a regular clothes. I just look like a contractor or anything. You have people sometimes that they are smart. They'll say things to you as you're making your delivery, like, hey man, put that in my vehicle, and you're like,
yeah, right.
But
of course.
you play them stupid. They don't know. Hey, what? It's just cleaning supplies, especially during COVID. I had that all the time. Hey, put that in my vehicle. I have to cleaning supplies, man. And they're like, oh, okay. I thought it was something else.
Right, you
and
want some bleach? I give you some
yeah,
bleach.
yeah. You're just like, yeah, whatever. But yeah, like the deliveries, it was cool. I love that job. Great job. Listen to podcasts all day, listen to music all day,
Right.
doing my own thing. People love you. They want to talk to you because you're bringing them the product.
Right.
Hey, what's new coming on? So I'm constantly, hey, this is what's coming up. This is what's going on. This is what we got in the works. So it was great. But again, not making that much money. I think I bumped up from like 13 to somewhere into like the 16 range.
Right.
So I'm like making $16 an hour, carried around all this money. And weed. It's like, this is ridiculous. My safety, biggest thing.
Yeah.
So, I did that for a little while. I have Crohn's disease. So I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease when I was 19 years old.
How old are you now?
I'm 32. I'll be 33 in August. So been dealing with it for quite some time. It's a nasty, nasty disease. It's a GI disease. Affects you anywhere from your mouth all the way down to your butt, intestines, anything in there. So dealt with that, and I realized later on as I started to get into cannabis how the plant helps me, not just wanting to get high or recreational with your friends,
Okay.
but how it helps you medicinally.
Okay.
So dealing with Crohn's and dealing with that type of work, I was kind of just like ran down and ran out. I was depleted. Told my boss like, hey, I'm having trouble like breathing, getting into the dispensaries. Like I think I need a break. Like my body's depleted. Just need a little bit of time to wear down, chill.
Right.
Just like take a couple days off, come back, whatever you need. Very lenient. Couple days turned into a week turned into a month. Got really bad off. Went to the hospital. They found a blood clot in my lung. Sent me home. Later on, more issues keep happening, and then the Crohn's just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. I don't come back to work anytime soon, so I'm basically just done. Like I'm checked out of life. Like no zest for life, nothing. If I could get up, get in the shower, get dressed, lay on the couch all day, that was a successful day for me. So yeah, I was checked out. They sent me to Berkeley Medical Center in West Virginia and Martinsburg. I was there for a week. They were running all types of tests, trying to figure out if it's a blockage, what's going on, can we do, medicine, whatever it is. Doctor came and said, I don't think it's a blockage, but we're going to send you to Morgantown University because there's specialists out there. They'll figure it out. Get out there, same thing, run a whole bunch of tests. I'm there for a month. I'm there through Father's Day, 4th of July, just me by myself because it's right after COVID. So they were really strict on who could come see you, when they could come see you, stuff like that. So it's like I was just up there staring at WVU's football stadium through a window for a month, just dying, basically. I was 110 pounds. I know I'm skinny now. I'm like 160, 170, but 110 pounds looks terrible when you know what I mean? So doctor comes in, he's like, hey man, you need surgery yesterday. So I'm kind of taken back by that. I'm thinking they're going to give you some medicine, send you on about your way and, you're good. But he's like, you need surgery. It's 4th of July this weekend. I'm off this weekend. If you say you need your surgery this weekend, I'm going to come in and do it. That's how bad it is. So they had scheduled me for the following week. I had to take time to think about it, which is mind blowing because literally I was dying. So this was a life or death decision. But when you're put in that position, I feel like, hey, it's sink or swim, and you got to look death right in its eyes. What are you gonna
something if you're drowning?
What are you gonna do? I got kids, so it's, that's the only thing I could think about at that time. If it was just me, I probably would just be like, you know what, give me the medicine, I'll try it out, figure it out, whatever. But if you're telling me that like you need this now, I had to do it. And what that in surgery entailed is they cut about 2 feet of my small intestine out, piece of my colon. They also took my appendix out just because it was, I guess, a little extra.
I went through the same thing.
Yeah, they're like, let's just take it out while we're in there. I'm like, what'd you take that out for? I needed that. And they're like, oh, you didn't need it. I was just BSing.
They were supposed to take mine out during my surgery, and he said he couldn't find it.
Oh, he couldn't find it.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, hopefully it doesn't rupture. Right.
Right. Yeah, well, he said I can find it if it's ruptured. I just couldn't find it because it wasn't ruptured.
Yeah, that might be the thing. He might have been right
It
in
took
there.
10 inches of me out for diverticulitis.
So you're right there with me then.
Oh my God, I was sick of it.
Did you have to get the bag and everything?
I didn't have to because I'd healed up good enough before the surgery that they were able to fix. Because that's the first thing I grabbed for after the surgery. Oh, do I have a tube? And I did.
So was it like emergency surgery is what you had?
They did with antibiotics for a couple weeks. I had a PICC line.
Yes.
I had
Same.
all that and everything for 1 week, and I had a main line for another week with bag antibiotics in the morning and evening and all that, and then it still was. And what come to find out was one of the diverticulitis popped and fused itself to my stomach muscle. So it was dumping bile into my stomach muscle.
You probably felt horrible.
Oh my God. That surgeon come in the day before surgery. He said, why did you up walking around? I want you walking before surgery. I said, man, I can't walk. He goes, I know you can. I said, I know I can't. I was like, And then after surgery, he goes, oh, I know why you couldn't walk now. He said, you got a pimple about this big in the muscle of your stomach.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After that, I'm telling you, the hour, 5 o'clock in the morning, I asked a surgeon what I could have, and he said, "What do you want?" I thought he was going to say Jello. He said, "Whatever you want." Well, Chick-fil-A.
Right.
He said that repair is stronger than any part of your system. He said we put it back together, it's stronger than any part of your intestine.
Wild.
So
The human body is amazing.
it is.
And that's wild that you said, what can I eat? Because that was literally one of the questions. So like when I was like, hey, I want to get the surgery next week. So I like wrote down all these questions, like a bunch of serious ones. But then I'm like, they're pumping me full of fentanyl and morphine through IV and like you said, PICC line. So I'm like in there like, all fucked up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can I still eat crabs? Can I still have seafood? Can I have Old Bay? Like, is that going to mess me up? And it's just like, that's like where your mind is just like not even all there, So, but I actually had to get the bag, and that was like my biggest thing was like way back in the day. I knew that could be an eventual thing, and I was like, if I ever have to get a bag, just kill me. I didn't really knew what that meant. Like I thought like you had a tube that came out of your butt into a bag, and like I had no idea.
Right.
But they basically, like I said, took a piece of my small intestine out, and then they take your small intestine, bring it through your stomach. And then you have the bag right over top of that. And then,
Just kind of comes out your side, right?
It comes right out into that pouch.
Or something.
Yeah, so it actually is like a Band-Aid type thing. And you change that like a couple times a week and put a new fresh bag on just to keep everything clean.
Right.
But yeah, it was like, you're real insecure about it. And I was like, you're like,
Of course.
just going to 7-Eleven, I was like fearing, somebody bumps into me, like, so it was like real weird.
Yeah, man.
How long did you have it?
Almost a year. That was the plan. So it was they had to let everything rest, and then once they let it rest, then they do the reconnection. So it's like, all right, well, I want to get that reconnection immediately. But I think if in hindsight, if I could go back, I would have kept the bag. And as crazy as that sounds, because you see me with the bag, like I was 225 pounds.
Oh, okay.
I blew up. I could eat anything that I wanted to eat. So it's like, I guess in hindsight, you don't know, but you're thinking like, I'm going to be back to normal. But then my body had to relearn everything again.
Right.
Hadn't farted for a whole year. Hadn't pooped for a whole year.
Right.
So it's like you have to relearn everything, and then what you can and can't eat again.
Pun not intended.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's like I said, this disease, it's a nasty disease, and diverticulitis is in that same family.
On the other end of it.
So how about food now, or do you have to?
So I kind of have pretty much what I can and can't eat. Sometimes I push it. You know what I mean? If
And
I
that's
eat something,
because of the Crohn's, right?
Yeah,
Like my sister has it.
Yep.
It's like vegetables and stuff like that.
everybody's different.
Right.
So
Oh,
you
okay.
could have it, I could have it, he could have it, but
be
it's
different things that affect
not cookie cutter. You could eat peanuts and have no problem. Peanuts could tear me up.
Right.
Soda, no problem. It could tear me up. It's just it depends.
Right.
Also, I guess depends on how active and you
Right.
are, and
A lot of different determining factors in there.
yeah.
DNA.
Yep. But yeah, so to be back to the surgery part of it, I got the surgery, got the bag, got reconnected, everything else like that. Like the surgeon had told me, he's like, you'll get your life back. You know, you'll be able to go back to work. You'll be able to, you know, enjoy the normal day-to-day things that you just are. And I can look at you and tell you you're not in it right now.
So during all this, are you smoking? Or are you using any cannabis products?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But it's not. It's just kind of keeping me almost even, but not. No, it couldn't do anything for the
actual pain. When you needed all that stuff, of course.
No. But I think that if I didn't have cannabis, I would have probably been done a long time before that, because it kind of helped me just get through the day.
The mental part of it, just, you know, I mean, not thinking about the pain. The pain's still there, but, you know, I mean, just that little edge off. You know, just like a cup of coffee in the morning. You know,
Absolutely. You know, I mean, you had to wake up and, you know, do your little wake and bake just to get through the day. You know, and eventually I started taking RSO, Rick Simpson oil. So that helps a lot. Especially, I think that's the purest form of medicinal. Yes.
That's FICO.
Is that what you guys got?
That's FICO right there.
Nice.
This is full spectrum FICO, and this is run through carbon filter one time.
Yeah, that stuff's amazing. Especially if you have something like we have, like it definitely helps a lot. And I think that's the truest form of the medicine. But I'm an equal opportunist is the way I look at it. I smoke flower, dabs, oil, you know, edibles, all that stuff. You got a trash can I can throw this gum out in?
There.
No trash can. A year later.
Gotta get the trash can in here.
That's why you don't leave stuff on the table. You take it in through the house.
Yeah. Trash can's on the other side of that door, but
that is some GG4 from Josh Ryder.
A little Gorilla Glue. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man. So, what do you do now?
Sorry,
like, what's your,
rambling.
you know, what do you get into now? You got away from the growing?
So Harvest eventually sold out to True Leave. If you guys are familiar with True Leave,
okay.
They're one of the largest cannabis companies in the country. I left them because I eventually got a job in West Virginia. Once I got out of the driving job, I took a sales job in West Virginia when wholesale opened up for them. I had threw my name in the hat for Maryland, but I didn't get it. But they kept me in mind for when they did open up in West Virginia. Since I live in West Virginia, like, hey, you want to do it? So I became the wholesale account manager for True Leave. Worked at that level for about a year, but the West Virginia market is very weird. It's medical only, and it's just not a lot of money in it. There's not a lot of money in the state, so to have a medical program and expect people to pay $55, $60 an eighth, or, you know, $70 a gram for FICO, it's they're hurting. So. You know, you can't. You put a quota on us as salespeople, but then you can't really. You know, you got to be realistic.
And they're not subscribing it, so they don't sell for that price.
No. So got into the West Virginia market. Left cannabis just because it became saturated as far as like there's not much I can do, but you know you're still expecting to hit the quota. Again, not much money in cannabis, I feel like, unless you're in a higher up level. The levels I was at, you're not really making much. People think like, oh yeah, you're money hand over fist. It's like, yeah, like, you know, if you're like an owner or whatever, but still, you know, probably still not even getting your ROIs at that point. But decided to see what else was out there, ventured into insurance sales, hated that, life insurance, got my life insurance license for Maryland and West Virginia. Really snarky, conniving people. You think of cannabis as bad, like, yeah.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Especially somebody's going to sell you something, and then when you go to turn it in, they're going to say, "Oh, well, hold on, you didn't do this or that or the other," and try to turn you down. Like that's their job, bro.
The salesman part of it. They're worse than car salesmen, or what?
I think so. Like, I just feel like I've heard some of the guys like talking like for the organization I was with, and it was like, oh, this lady says she only has 50 cents left in her account. Oh, well, give her a policy for $6.50 for the year. It's like, that's the thought process. And it's like, I'm a firm believer in like, anytime I've done sales, like I got to pretty much be all in and believe in this product, because if I don't, like, I feel some type of way selling something to somebody that's, you know, it's wrong. You know what I mean? But a lot of people, they don't care about that.
No, people just care about money. They don't care about customer service or the product that they're selling being something good.
Yeah, and I'm a firm believer in karma, and that comes back full circle. So if you're putting out bad energy, you're doing bad business.
It's
going to bite you in the ass for sure.
Yes. So it's like, I learned that very early in my sales career, like one deal's not worth your job, like things like that, where you're just like,
right.
But you see it all the time. People just are willing to do it. But yeah. So now I was recently, funny enough, working with Amazon Hub, which was a new program that Amazon, I guess, rolled out. And they go to like rural areas and try to like sign up like barbershops and hardware stores to then deliver their packages for them because they don't have a warehouse in that area. So doing sales for them. But then I literally just got fired on Monday.
No shit.
Yes. But oddly enough, I feel more motivated than ever. Because I recently did just start my own podcast, Blaze the Bingo Hall. Which is my own brand where I'm combining my love of cannabis, my experience in cannabis, my knowledge of cannabis, and my love of professional wrestling, which is where I met Jamie at. My father was a professional wrestler, so I grew up around the business. I've seen tons of things in the business, outside the business, so I think I have a unique perspective. Also, I am a fan of the business. But I just wanted to combine both worlds, so to say, and just kind of create my own content and go all in on myself. So that's why I started that brand. And then I'm also working with a hemp company now, St. Anki Flowers, which I'm a rep for, which it's not just hemp. But they have all types of other products like natural spring waters and, mushroom gummies and candies. And all types of holistic products that we have. So, like I said, I'm more motivated than ever. I kind of, I won't lie, like I kind of sensed it was coming with Amazon just because same thing kind of like with the West Virginia market and True Leaf, losing territories. Hey, Luray, we're losing Luray. Hey, we're losing Augusta, Shenandoah. So it's like, what are we supposed to do here? So it's like, I guess they're changing their plan of action. So it's not like,
it's working great in certain areas.
Yeah.
But it's not working great in that area, so they cut it.
Yeah, and then they just move on to another state or new territory.
Right, West Virginia's definitely in the
we're
top
learning all
5
about
broken
that kind of
states,
stuff.
too.
We're learning all about that.
Yeah, and it's contractual work. That was the first time I did contractual work, so my contract would have been up at the end of December anyway. So it's kind of like I said, I kind of seen it coming anyway, but it's like, like I said, more motivated than ever. So, like I ran into you at wrestling and POR, and that was my second show. And I had seen your content, like I was telling you before we started recording. I went down a mad rabbit hole. I love your stuff. And I, figured shoot my shot, introduce myself, say what's up, and, here we are.
Here we are,
yes.
fucking A. That's how it works, brother.
Man.
That's how it works. Keep doing that.
Yes.
You'll get your name out there.
Yeah, man.
It's the same thing networking. Find cool people, If you don't like somebody, move on.
Yeah.
We had the POR boys here the other night that could move forward for something crazy here.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe not. We're still thinking about it, working it out, maybe.
Definitely looking forward to the next event that they have where they're doing POR versus X Brand. Which is
that's the next one. You just told me about that one.
Yeah, I've been seeing them advertise that online, so that's looking forward to that one.
Is that in Demeril? Is that there?
Yeah, I think that's their next event this month.
Yeah,
because it's always the last Sunday of the month or something.
Okay,
pretty much.
Yeah. How long have you been going for? I know you started going last year.
What did we go twice last year or once?
Just once, I think. I've been twice. You've been 3 times.
So I've been 3 times. Once last year we recorded for an episode on my other channel, and then I went down to record for this year.
Time, and then
right. Well, the first time was with you. Right.
The first time last year.
Yeah, and then we went down this year. I went once, and he didn't go, and that's the one we recorded. Then last time we went down in a limo, and
I seen you guys in the limo.
94.
Yeah, we shot a little bit of content, but we wasn't there set up for that. I just wanted to go down and have fun, man. Sit back and chill, have a beer, talk to some people, and plus we set it up with them so that we can, get in there and talk to them. So might be a way in for you too.
That'd be awesome. I'd love to.
Because I want to sit down and talk to them boys face to face. Get behind the scenes.
Well, that's why I introduced. When I got done talking to you, I seen JJ when things were over, and I started talking to JJ and was like, "Hey, man, introduce myself." I actually do some art. I draw these rocks sometimes. I don't know if you've seen that. I paint them, like get river rocks. It's a weird thing, but like it started a long time ago. It's called the Kindness Rocks Project.
Yeah.
People paint them and they put like either words.
Kids always stealing out of my front yard right here. All the rocks in there. The rocks up there.
They're like
McKinley,
either words of inspiration or like you paint like art on there and you hide them and you tag them on the back with whatever your stuff. I don't have any with me.
Man, that's
I
something
know.
needs to go on the shelf
I
right
have
here.
to get one together for you guys. I'll definitely put one together for you guys. Yeah. I got a few I'm working on right now, but yeah, I can definitely do that.
Yeah,
definitely put it up on the shelf.
It's kind of like little memories.
Yeah.
You know, we can probably go through each one of these things and tell you kind of where it came from.
We can definitely do that. We can get that set up.
Cool little storyboard.
Yeah, I love doing that, and I gave JJ one, which was basically like his mask. You know, his, so,
okay, cool.
And so I told him the same thing. Like, I'd love to get him on. So yeah, nice. I would love to do anything with them. Like those guys are awesome. Like the first one I went to was where he threw little sicko off the roof. I was just like,
bro, that was so nice.
Yes.
The first one we went to, they set that dude on fire.
Yeah, right.
And he was like, bro, you could feel the heat. You like backed off from the heat. Your body wanted to go away from it. It was so hot.
Nuts. Yeah, it's nuts. Crazy. I mean, like I said, I've been around wrestling my whole life, and this is like eye-opening for me. You know what I mean? Right. So yeah, those guys are definitely doing their thing.
Shit.
Definitely doing their thing. Yeah.
All right, so let's steer it back to 420. So tell us about the cannabis industry. Like, what do you think is? Okay, let me ask this question. Do you think that anybody on the lower level has a chance of competing against that industry?
As far as to be like where like True Leave or like, you know, Columbia Care, one of these big corporate places are, not really. I mean, you have to kind of find your own niche and do your own, pave your own way. But if you think that you're going to compete with them, that would be the
not compete, but survive.
You could survive. You could survive. It's just depending on how passionate you are about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what reasons would you give for not being able to compete on their level?
Price per pound.
The capital.
Right.
I mean, the capital.
So if you come into it with enough money, you could compete.
Yes. And it's been proven with like some of these like spokesperson type people, like celebrity endorsement type people, even though they don't always have equity in these companies. But when you have a name, you can kind of...
Like Mike Tyson.
Yeah, Mike Tyson. Yeah. He can kind of partner with like companies like Verano and some of these bigger names in other states and throw his weight around, even though he really doesn't have as much stake in the game. They're really using his likeness to get where they need to be.
He owns a big farm in California.
Yeah, he does. Too. He does.
Right.
He does. But I just don't think when it comes down to like one of the like top, you know, say big 4, big 5 companies that are out there, like they are like this with each other.
Right.
So I don't even think they even make moves to even worry about anybody else. So it's kind of like I said, you guys kind of find your own thing. Like, can survive.
So how about like laws and guidelines? I mean, let's just say, for example, there's a lottery and there's going to be X amount of dispensaries in this area. Like, are other places even entered into that lottery, or is it just going to stay in those top 5 or whatever it is that's running our state?
I feel like it becomes who you know. Like, you have these lobbyists.
Politics.
Because it's very corrupt. Very corrupt. Like, you know, they go into these small towns for a reason, because we're going to make an impression on the local town managers, and hey, we might give you equity, or we might promise you a job here later on down the line once we get this building. A lot of corruption.
But they're never really promising jobs for the community or anything either.
They can,
right?
But it's not a guarantee. You know what I mean? Because then they'll say, hey, this community might not be qualified for this, or that. You might be able to get in at the entry level, but when it's time to do promotions, we're bringing in people from this side, and you know, Volvo, and you proved yourself over here that have no cannabis knowledge or no cannabis like love at all.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, it's I got so many things to say. Too much. I mean, the whole big pharma thing is you're not going to compete. You know, I mean. There's 10 different cars in the world. You know, you're not going to start up a car business, but if you started up a Ferrari business, you could make money.
Right.
Okay, so that's where I kind of look at it. You know, you can't compete with Ford and Chevy, but we can compete with the top tier market.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where I think, you know, mom and pop grows can work. You know.
Yes.
Run right, seed to sale, from our grow to our dispensary. Okay, 1 dispensary, 2 dispensaries, whatever. That's it. All the product is made in-house, distributed from there to them stores. There's nothing wrong with that, is it? Nope. Okay, so that's where I want to see Ambridge Acres. You know, that's where I want it to go to. I know we're not going to compete by
and that's
150,000 square. I don't want to grow
right.
150,000 square feet of.
And that's where you'll eat everybody's lunch because of that. What you just said, that mom and pop, that seed to sale, that you know where it comes from. You know who's involved.
You know, we're tested.
That's where you're able
there's
to
nothing in our
have that following.
There's no middleman. There's no guy taking this to a warehouse, breaking it up, and putting it in his own bags and spraying it and putting it on the shelf.
Yeah.
Okay. There's none of that going on.
Yeah.
So have you seen that in the industry though?
As far as what?
As far as a shop like this, for example, let's say we had 2 brick and mortars here in Virginia, and it was just us. Boom, we grow, we sell.
So, like in Maryland, them dispensaries in Maryland are selling Maryland weed.
Yes. So all Maryland weed. So the way Maryland set their things up was, I think they only did about 15 grow license at first because they didn't want things to become a monopoly. But then in retrospect, like it still is a monopoly.
It dwindled down
because only
eventually.
those 15 have the control really, because you have to go through them. So say if True Leaf is low right now in their supply, then you have to go through Verano. And if Verano is low, then you have to go through this one. So it just keeps circling through the same
15
yeah.
people.
And then they're robbing Peter to pay Paul, and then it's like everyone's in debt with each other. And
so is basically what I'm hearing is it's not going to start and be a mom and pop's stuff because of the laws, right? So the laws need to be restructured in some way to allow someone to be able to grow their tomatoes in their backyard and sell their tomatoes at market.
Yeah, I mean, and it comes down to the state because every state's different. And most of these new states that are going medical, they're going to want to copy off of a previous state on what their program is. And not that that's a bad thing, but sometimes they could be copying, certain SOPs that actually might not work out well for them. And they might have could have consulted with some other state, or another person to say, hey, this would be a better way to do it that could work out for the people. Same thing with like the way Maryland set themselves up. They went medical first. They had these 15 growers. They only had a limited amount of dispensaries. Eventually, they loosened up the laws. They allowed some of these places to get more dispensaries because I think you can only have like 5.
There's still mom and pop dispensaries in Maryland, right?
There are, but a lot of them aren't vertically integrated, so they don't have their own grow. They don't have
all their product.
Could be.
Okay, so all their product has to come from those 15 people. If they get their permits,
if they get everything.
All their product has to come from those same 15 people.
There are a few different testing labs that they use, but they are relatively all the same ones that they go through. They don't have to use the same lab, but they all do have to have everything tested.
So they could make it their own and send it through that lab and then be able to grow their own and sell it.
And there's been issues that I've seen like that, even when I was just starting off in the post-harvest era where this company is always pushing out 30% THC. Like, you're always going to have 30% every single grow.
Get a new COA.
Yeah. So apparently they were, what the word was, they were in cahoots with the testing lab.
Oh, yeah.
Then, they're bumping the numbers and then, they just
everybody's got a printer.
They just get a little fine and then, it's just a slap on the wrist. So it's like, where there's a will, there's a way. They're going to do what they can,
And people are going to find a way to manipulate for money.
This cola to this cola. COA is different.
Yes.
So.
And that's the thing. It's like you can have, we would test in 10-pound batches. So whether it was only 1 pound that we had to test, that you got charged for 10 pounds. So what you would do at the end of those 10 pounds, you take all the keef, you jump all that keef on top. Well, if the inspector comes in and grabs that bud with all the keef on it, you're telling me that's not going to be a higher testing result than one that's at the bottom that doesn't have all that keef on it?
Yeah.
I mean... So
or top coal versus bottom coal, coal with freaking keef on it.
I mean, it's like
different things.
There's little things like that. It's there's a lot of I don't know what to call it, I guess corruption somewhat.
Well, there's a lot of, I mean, like you're saying, this grower is growing it and then he's putting it to this dispensary who's packaging it in their name. Okay. So they're taking it with one package, putting it into their packages. Okay, so that COA comes from them, and then they're busting it down and putting it in whatever size packages, or they're not manufacturing the gummies. I mean, the edible stuff, though, right? How does that work?
So some of them are. Some of them will send out their biomass if they have it left over, and they don't have a lab. They'll send it to another lab, and then they'll do like a split deal if they're making edibles for them. But yeah, it just depends on what they have, what their setup is.
That could be extraction coming back like that, or it could be coming back as gummies.
Yeah, anything, topicals, anything, you name it. You can make anything out of it. Especially if you have a grow that say went bad and it molded or, it started herming or, whatever happened, send it to biomass.
For some reason your flower doesn't look good.
Yeah, send it to biomass
absolutely.
because you can make great products out of it without having to smoke it, because it's not all about smoking.
It's not only about smoking, for sure.
Yeah. And some of the, I've also seen things where like, hey, it's Cookies brand. Cookies is like one of these premier brands that, they're hand trimmed or growing under LED lights. Well, that's just what they say, but what happens in the grow, I guess, stays in the grow, so to say. They might run that thing through the machine because we're pressed on time and we got to hit our numbers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's shit like that, people don't
that's
think
marketing.
Of. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So,
marketing.
but
everything.
So on your podcast, how many episodes have you done of that? Where can they find that?
So my 13th episode will actually come out today. It will be with a gentleman named One Man Crew, who has been taking over the deathmatch community by storm.
Okay.
By hook or by crook, I guess. He is all the talk. He is now saying he's the highest paid deathmatch wrestler out there.
No shit.
He talked himself into a match with Masada.
This guy's gonna start some shit.
Yeah.
His podcast could start some shit.
It is.
You can get right there in the middle of
it's
that.
It's all over the place as far as the deathmatch community right now. Like people are wondering what's gonna happen because he booked himself a match against Masada. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but he's like if there's a Mount Rushmore of deathmatch wrestlers, he's on there. Yes.
Okay.
So I think July 26th, it's in Houston, Texas. Both of them are going to be going against each other, One Man Crew and Masada. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I have 13 episodes. It's not all just about wrestling. It's funny because it's like wrestling and cannabis based, but like I honestly feel like wrestling and cannabis are probably the least things that we talk about. It's just like real life conversations, unfiltered conversations, people's stories. I had a gentleman who actually was a wrestler or is a wrestler now, got into the business at 35. His name's Triple M. And his son was kidnapped by the biological father 2 years ago and fled to Mexico. Okay. So it's like something
real talk, like real or that storyline?
Yes, it's in it's in the FBI. Like they're looking for him. The White House. His name's Hansel Quieres. And it's my episode number 2. And it's one of those things where it's like, you talk to this guy, and then he starts to tell you about his story, and it's like,
wow.
Yeah. So
that's cool, though. Yeah, I enjoy that too, man. Sitting down and talking to people, learning about them, and getting those wild and crazy stories like that is definitely cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Zach. Well, thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. Drop your stuff. Tell everybody where to find you. Where's your links?
Blaze the Bingo Hall.
And that's Instagram, right?
So I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube.
Okay.
Like and subscribe. Hit me up on there. It's all Blaze the Bingo Hall, at Blaze the Bingo Hall. I go under Young Lurch, if you guys know me under that. But Zach's cool too. But yeah, man, appreciate you guys for having me on. And
all right, y'all, like and subscribe. Y'all know what to do, man. Share this podcast and go follow Zach.
Yeah, appreciate it.